Hi there. Welcome to That's English.
Hello.
Our documentary today looks at relationships, especially friendship.
We'll be hearing from a psychologist about why friends are so important in our lives and how we make close friends. Do you have a lot of friends, Samantha?
Well, I have about 400 Facebook friends, but a lot of them are really just acquaintances, people I've met but don't know very well. Really close friends, I could probably count on one hand.
Yes, me too. As you watch, try and answer this question. Why can't we live without friends?
It's good to have friends. We need our friends for emotional support and for companionship, in the good times and in the bad times. Sometimes those friendships are made in the school playground, and they can last all our lives. So how do we choose our friendships?
Generally, we pick friends who mirror us, although sometimes people who are very different from us are quite attractive. It depends whether we really have the innate values and ethics of the other person. So it's not really about what they do or their money or where they live. It's much more about those very deep values being shared.
Cheryl Massey is a British psychologist who studies relationships between people. She believes that friendship is essential to live a happy and healthy life.
Friends are good for our health. They're adaptive, really. We couldn't really survive on this planet without friends. We're not good as isolates. It's not healthy either mentally or physically for us.
So we have relationships with many different people. But in what ways are these relationships different to each other?
We do take on different roles, and that's quite natural. We have to respond to different contexts, different people and different situations. Some people think it's acting, but it's actually quite natural and essential in our world.
So how do we make really close friends?
A good analogy is the onion analogy. People very slowly peel back the layers and give more information about themselves until eventually, of course, you get to the inner core, which is where we share our deepest worries, our fears, our hopes and dreams. But we have to be quite discerning who we share this with, therefore we don't have lots and lots of very good friends.
We asked Laura Allen and her housemates Charlotte Knowles and Rosanna Christoforou about their friendship.
I think I am slightly different with certain friends. For instance, with Rosie, I've known her since I was 3, so we're really comfortable and open with each other. Whereas with other friends who I maybe don't know so well, I might be slightly more reserved or not as open.
No. Did you kiss him? No. Yes.
I think I'm perceived that I'm quite quiet, but these two will know that I'm not. I can be very loud sometimes. I naturally gravitate towards people with similar interests and personality, I think the older I get, I realise that friends are always there for you and acquaintances are people that kind of pass you by, and I think you need the friends there with you through life.
I have friends from all different walks of life who understand my sense of humour and who I can be silly with, really.
Did you do the sales? Comprehensive what covers the sales list?
I suppose I do talk differently with different people. If I was at work, I would be more professional and slightly more reserved, but if I'm with these guys, then I just say anything. I'm probably a lot more chatty.
I like the top though.
I have noticed that I seek friends with common interests, definitely.
Now, this is your great-grandfather when he was a boy.
I see.
Yes, he was sort of 8 or 9 then.
He looks like you, I can see the resemblance.
Yes.
Between my friends and family, I'm very different. With my auntie, I wouldn't text, I wouldn't be on the phone, but with my friends, it'd be very relaxed.
We asked Cheryl Massey if friendship was exclusive to humans.
It is adaptive for all human beings to socialise, and this is common throughout the animal kingdom.
Even sharks have special relationships, according to a recent French scientific investigation. The study among reef sharks in the Pacific and Indian Oceans revealed that these animals form long-term friendships. The relationship between sharks went beyond the need for protection or to find food. Instead, scientists believe that shark friendships were based on a need for long-term support sometime in the future. So whether you live below or above the waterline, It seems the secret to happiness is to stay close to your friends.
It's interesting that we behave differently with different people, but it's only with our close friends that we can really relax and be ourselves.
And even sharks have long-term friendships. How incredible. Did you get the answer to our question? Why can't we live without friends?
Friends are good for our health. We couldn't really survive on this planet without friends.
Because friends are good for our health.
As well as friends, another important relationship in many people's lives is with a partner.
We asked our international friends, what's the attitude to marriage in your country among young people?
Marriage still matters in New Zealand and young people still want to get married. However, most people tend to live together for a few months before they actually decide to tie the knot.
I think the attitude amongst young people is changing. I think before it was a woman's rite of passage to get married and have children, but now I think it's becoming more acceptable for people to be in a relationship and never get married. And I also think that America's views towards same-sex marriages are becoming more accepting.
They have a very positive attitude towards marriage. There is a very high divorce rate in South Africa, so people tend to aspire to having a solid marriage, so they do take it seriously, and when they do get married, there's obviously great celebrations about that special day.
I think young people have a different view of marriage than maybe previous generations, and that's a lot to do with the scandals in the church. Their attitude is that they think that cohabiting would be the way to go. Maybe cohabit for if necessary for several years with someone, just to sort of test the water before see if marriage is right for them before taking the leap.
Marriage is regarded highly in India. It automatically gives you a sense of security, responsibility, and you're accepted in the society on a wider terms.
Well, it seems young people still want to get married. But in Ireland, for example, they often cohabit first in order to test the water. That means to try something to see what it's like.
And the woman from New Zealand also said people often live together before they tie the knot. That means get married.
Well, now it's time to watch another episode of That's Britain.
Alex visits Morecambe Bay, which is famous for its sands and its wildlife. You'll hear the word quicksand, arenas movedizas.
As you watch, answer this question. What landmarks do we see in the video?
Hello, today I'm in the town of Morecambe on the edge of Morecambe Bay. This beautiful sandy bay covers 310 square kilometres, making it the second largest bay in Britain. One of the most famous things in Morecambe is the sands, and every year hundreds of people travel here to walk across them. Now, this ancient tidal crossing is just over 9 miles long and is potentially quite dangerous. But luckily for me, I'm with Cedric Robinson, who's been working here as the Queen's Guide to the Sands for over 50 years. Now, Cedric, what do you do exactly?
Well, it's my job to be out there and to bring people safely across. See, it is a dangerous area and there are quicksands out there.
Have you ever actually taken the Queen across them?
No, I've taken Prince Philip across in 1985, a horse-drawn carriage, Queen's horses. Lovely, never forget it.
And what's your relationship with the sands?
Well, I just love the sands and I live the sands. You have to live the sands to know them.
Well, Cedric, would you be able to take me across them?
Yes, come on, let's go. Stroll.
Wish me luck. Well, that was great. I'm so glad I'm wearing my comfortable boots. Well, I'm now standing on the stone jetty here in Morecambe. This was part of the old harbour where ferries crossing from Scotland and Ireland used to come. The jetty is a great place for families with children. It's got puzzles, games and jokes built into the pavement, and there are some impressive bird sculptures. This game's called Hopscotch. Let's have a go. Morecambe has some treasured buildings. This is the Midland, a historic luxury Art Deco hotel built in the 1930s. Perhaps I'll stay here tonight. Along the promenade is one of the town's most famous landmarks, a life-size statue of Eric Morecambe in one of his characteristic poses. He was one of Britain's most well-loved comedians, and he chose the name of his hometown Morecambe as his stage name. When he wasn't trying to make people laugh, he was an avid bird watcher, and if you look closely, you'll see he's wearing his binoculars. Well, it's no surprise that Eric had a passion for bird watching. Morecambe Bay and the surrounding area have a lot of wildlife and are ideal for bird watching. Well, I'm now with Annabelle from the Leighton Moss Nature Reserve, and Annabelle is going to take us into the reserve to see if we can find some birds.
Let's head this way, Alex. Okay.
So Annabelle, why is this such a perfect place for bird watchers and nature lovers?
Well, Leighton Moss is home to a huge variety of very special birds and other wildlife, and it's really important because it's the largest reed bed in the northwest of England. Now, reed bed is this stuff, really, really big grass covering a whole area. There's lots of water and lots of reed, and that attracts in a huge variety of different wildlife and makes it really important.
And apart from birds, what other wildlife can you see here?
Oh, there's lots and lots of different types of wildlife here. We get otters, we've got the UK's largest mammal, the red deer, we get a variety of butterflies and dragonflies, and then there's all the different plant life as well.
Okay, so what do you think we're going to see today?
Well, we'll definitely see some robins and some blue tits, and on a sunny day today we'll hopefully see some butterflies as well.
Fantastic, thanks Annabelle.
You're welcome.
Well, I want to see more of these beautiful birds, so I'm going to stay here a little bit longer, but I'll see you next time in Manchester.
Well, I enjoyed that. What a lovely area.
Yes. So what landmarks do we see in the video?
Well, first we saw the bay and the sands.
Then we saw the stone jetty and the promenade with the statue of a famous comedian, and also the Midland Hotel.
And finally, we saw the nature reserve where you can go bird watching.
Yes, as Annabelle said, the reed bed is perfect for birds like robins.
And also wildlife, such as otters and deer.
Well, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today.
We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.